I'm here in Xoco. That's our restaurant that focuses on tortas, the fabulous Mexican sandwiches. And I'm going to tell you that my favorite one right now, it might surprise you, is the one that is filled with hongos al mojo de ajo. That would be mushrooms with a kind of roasted garlic bath. And I'm going to show you how to make it because it is so utterly delicious. And it has to start with making a roasted garlic mojo de ajo. We do a very simple one here and it's easy to do at home. The mojo starts with 4 heads of garlic that have been roasted until they're soft and blackened in places. Once the garlic cools down, peel off that papery husk and then put the garlic into the food processor. Next, measure out 1.5 cups of olive oil. Pulse the garlic in the food processor to get it started chopping. Then pour in the olive oil with the machine still running. Add a teaspoon of salt and 1/4 cup of lime juice. Pulse a couple of times just to blend it in, to mix it in, and we're ready to move on now to the mushroom part of this. You've got a lot of choices for mushrooms. I like to do it with a mixture of different kinds of mushrooms because I like the flavors and the textures. So I have here cultivated mushrooms, different varieties. Of course, there's the shiitake, which has a very meaty and bold flavor. And then for a complete contrast, oyster mushrooms work really well, and they have a kind of soft and gentle texture. There are times when you can find beautiful wild mushrooms available in nice grocery stores, especially in the fall. Here I have some chanterelles, and this one that's sort of got an orange color to it, that's lobster mushroom, and it's very, very meaty. So I have to cut all of these up, and I'll tell you that when working with shiitake mushrooms, I always pull the stem off of it first. The cap can simply be cut crosswise in about 1/4-inch pieces, but that stem needs to be cut crosswise very thinly because it's very fibrous. Now the 2 classic flavors that are used when you're making mushrooms mojo de ajo in Mexico are epazote. If you don't have this, then I would suggest a big handful of chopped cilantro because you kind of need something herby in this. And then the other thing is that smoky chili, the chipotle in adobo that you find in the can. So I'm going to take a couple of those out and chop those up for us to add to our mushroom filling. Just a few leaves of epazote will be enough to season this whole batch. Now that all the prep is done, I'm going to heat a skillet over medium-high heat. And I'm going to add to it some of the oil, just the oil part of the mojo de ajo. When it gets really hot, I'm going to add those mushrooms all at once and then just toss them continuously until they're beginning to brown. Now, once they've browned, I'm going to reduce the heat under the skillet and then add some of the solids from the mojo de ajo. Then the last 2 seasonings go in. That would be the smoky chipotle and whatever herb you're using, epazote or cilantro. Now give it a taste and season it generously with salt because remember, this is a filling that's going to go into your torta. Now, the trick to a really good torta is a really good bolillo or telera bun, one or the other. We have these made for us by an artisan baker here in Chicago. They have a little of that really old-fashioned, slightly sour flavor and a great crust on it, which is what I really like a lot. The first step in making the torta is to cut the bread in half lengthwise. Scoop out a little of the soft interior, the part that's called the miga. Smear the base of the torta with some fresh goat cheese. And then add a generous helping of the mushrooms. Put it all into the oven for the crust to crisp and the inside to get warm. In Xoco, we do that in a wood-burning oven. The final little bit is a little dressed greens. I like to use a wild arugula for it. Just a squeeze of fresh lime juice, a little sprinkling of salt, and then that'll go over the warm filling there. Put that top on there, and then cut our sandwich in half. Little basket, piece of parchment to go in there, just like that. Now, I like this particular torta with a red chili salsa, and I have to say, you take one bite of that mushroom mojo de ajo torta with its goat cheese and arugula, and you're gonna love it just as much as I do.